Hello and welcome to Sheepdog Says. I'm Sheepdog and it is the most ridiculously hot day ever. For those of you who don't live in the UK, it's a whole 21 degrees C, I'm guessing. I don't think we use F. I don't even know. Everyone just says 21 degrees and it's only going to be hotter tomorrow, so I am dying of the amount of heat that I'm just not used to. I don't really know what to do about it other than just wallow around in a dark room and hope that it goes away, but it's not working. Everywhere I go is hot. That's been my weekend so far. I like it, it's great, but yesterday I spent 2 hours. My daughter went to a birthday party where she was bowling, and I went to a Pokemon nest in town, and I wandered up and down a lakefront for an hour and a half, 2 hours catching Pokemon for my son. Got back and I'm pink. I can see my skin is just slightly pink from the sun. Since then I've been feeling uncomfortable with this heat. It's ridiculous. It's quite ironic today as well that normally, like last weekend, I was with Kev and the gang drinking and having fun at a football match, and my wife was the one at home with the kids. Today she's out drinking with her work colleagues in a nice pub. Every time I text saying, do you want me to come pick you up? She's like, nah, we've just had another drink. So bless her, she's having a nice chilled sort of afternoon/evening at the pub with her friends. I bet all of her drinks have ice in them. We don't seem to have any ice in the house. And maybe if I'd put some on to freeze when I realised it would have frozen by now, but I didn't. So now I regret that decision, because if I put some on now, maybe it'll freeze in time for, I don't know, 10 or 11 o'clock at night. But who's going to want to drink by then? The sun will have gone. It'll be cold. I know I could drink it tomorrow, but I'll let tomorrow me worry about that. I'll just not do it now because I'm in the middle of recording a video and I won't remember. I may make a note. I'll just put ice down and hope that I remember. So, yeah, today has been pretty much just sitting around, really. We're still going through the process of trying to book our holiday. I mentioned the other day that my wife just booked the flights without even checking I was off. I'm off, but I've got to obviously sort out accommodation. We think we've whittled it down to 3 places. I've not heard of the company that I think I've heard of the company we're buying from, and my wife says she's heard of them. But I think the issue is the company's called Kenwood, and I'm sure they make kitchen appliances or something. Whereas she's saying, I've heard of them. No, they definitely are a holiday company. It's Kenwood Villas or Kenwood Holidays or something. And I'm thinking, is that what they want us to think? Like, have we all just heard of the dishwasher or whatever it is, the appliance, the random wooden thing, spatula, whatever, spatulas wouldn't be wooden, whatever they are in a kitchen that Ken would sell. Maybe that's what I've heard of, and then I'm looking at their prices and I'm thinking, wow, they're a lot cheaper than everywhere else. I'll give them my money. I rang them earlier to ask them a few questions. It rang straight through to somebody, which seems like a telltale sign to me, because most companies would have a dial 1 for this, dial 2 for that. You're in a queue. I know it is a Sunday on a bank holiday weekend, so probably not getting that many calls, but this went straight through to hello. And well, I'm sure she said the name of the company. I don't think it was just hello. It wasn't like, hello, who's this? What do you want? It was more of a, I think, like, Kenwood Holidays, how can I help? And I was a bit surprised. But I don't know, every time at the moment. So my wife says to me, where are we going? I open up, I type in what we're looking for. Comes up with 3 or 4 places. I start clicking through and immediately my shoulders tense. And I'm just like, and then I carry on tapping, and then I check whether they've got the bits we need, and then I just feel more and more tense. And then I'm like looking through the booking process and I'm tensing up more. And I can't tell whether, I thought at first it was just because it's a lot and I don't want to make a mistake. But well, a lot and I don't want to spend it almost, but I think it's just that it's a lot, and I'm just so concerned about the fact that I could just be thinking I know who they are because I've heard of their whatever it is. They seem to be protected by all the different normal insurers. I've lots of good reviews. I'm sure they're a completely legitimate company, but it's just making me nervous. I mentioned on Twitter, people talk about fear of missing out on FOMO. Mine is, fear of messing up. I use a different word online, but it's FOMO. I just don't want to mess up. I don't want to get to America, go to book our car, and put it. Just walk up to someone and I go, I've never heard of you, mate. And then we get a taxi to our villa and they go, nope, you're not booked in here. I'm just convinced that I'm just going to hand someone this and all I'm going to get is magic beans in return. So I'm very, very nervous. I almost feel like I should be going out for an afternoon in the sun drinking just to chill out about this. We need to get it booked. It's driving me nuts. The kids are massively excited, as you can imagine. Lamp-Up's been going through all the places. She's been given a very strong, authoritative opinion on every place we've looked at. We sent the 3 candidates to my mother-in-law, and I'm very pleased to say that she's put them in the order I put them in terms of like most favourable to least favourable. It does go against how Lamp-Up did it. I'm not sure what my wife's order was, but I feel like it's 2 against however many at the moment, so maybe I'll get my own way. I don't know how I'm going to cope with the heat out there, though, if I can't cope here. I remember when I was a kid, the heat was quite... It was like being cuddled by a warm blanket, so it wasn't too bad. Whereas here, it's just like somebody's got a flame and they're just holding it at you. Heat in the UK is a weird, weird thing. I remember my aunt visiting from Israel about, I don't know, it must have been 15 plus years ago. And she found it unbearable. She said, over there's always a light, cool breeze. Here, it's just, there's the fire, in your face, melt. And it feels like that today. I'm completely and utterly ruined by it. The kids have been weird. I'm worn out. I mean, I don't know how my wife does it. I was going to do a video about how, like, people joke about dads not being able to kind of hold their own or whatever. And I'd like to think, you know, I remember years ago my sister saying I never really did very much, and I did, but I do more now than I did then. And it's not been a problem, but there was a point where my dog was doing absolutely nothing at all, but it was ticking me off that she was doing whatever she was doing. And it just sent me on a spiral of just, and then my wife texted saying, are you all right? And I was like, yeah, all good. And then she was like, you don't mind me being out late? And I was like, no, not at all, not at all. And she was like, you're not stressing? And I was like, no, everything's great. And after about 10 minutes, I texted her saying, well, the dog's doing my head in. And she sort of texted back going, yeah, she's probably hot. And I was like, no, she is hot. And I've made sure she's got water and I'm looking after her. I think it's just because she's running around and it's too hot to be running around. I just feel defeated. All I've done since my wife's been out and the kids have been doing their own thing is watching Simpsons and Modern Family. And I've ran out of episodes, so I was like, there's nothing else good to watch that I can get away with watching at TV time? Family time. They're all out of the room, but I don't know, walking in and someone's having their head ripped off or whatever. Doesn't really work, but... today's been a bit of a weird. I'm glad this is a bank holiday weekend, actually, because if this had been my Sunday and I was going to work in the morning, I think I probably would feel a bit more stressed out about the fact that I have done nothing with my day. But the fact that I've got tomorrow off, we'll do some family stuff and we'll have some fun. And I'm hoping, I mean, I did mention I might do a video with Lamp-Up, but it's just not worked out. Like, she's busy. I say busy, she's watching YouTube with my son and it's all chilled and the house is peaceful. There is peace throughout the Sheepdog castle. But I think tomorrow we'll have to do a video together, a proper one in the afternoon at some point. Make something funny, be good. She really likes the feedback. She loves the fact that everyone enjoys watching her in the videos. I'm noticing that she gets more views than I do. I may have to... I'm not going to start her own channel because I worry that if she becomes stupidly YouTube famous, it would be, I don't know, weird. Unless she wants to pay my mortgage off, then she's more than welcome to do that. That's not my dog barking in the background, by the way, and that's not me barking in the background. I don't know where that dog's coming from, but it wants to stop. Mainly because it's going to wake the baby. So yeah, I've not really got much to say. I read a couple of the comics from yesterday's video from Free Comic Book Day. Barrier, the Brian K. Vaughan one that everyone was excited to get, was a very weird book. It started with a dead horse in a field, a woman complaining that drug barons had killed a horse on her land. Then it had about 5 pages in Spanish, so I just kind of looked at the pictures, thought, I can't even really guess what's going on here other than, oh, you're drug people or you're people that are trying to flee into America or whatever. So I kind of just skipped through them, read the English bits again, skipped through another load of Spanish, watched another little bit, and then it was just bizarre. Like Brian K. Vaughan books are, it kind of got to the last 2 pages and then suddenly went, oh, now it's a weird sci-fi story. And I was just like, I don't know if that's enough of a pull for me to be like, okay, brilliant. I'm gonna go and buy the other 1,000 new comics, because this one's got a weird rule where it's going to be landscape all the time, and you're only allowed to buy it in paper. You can't buy it in e-copies or in thick books. You can only buy it as sideways on landscape. And I'm kind of like, okay, so you've made 2 weird rules that I'm not really on board with, and you're just going to dip into Spanish midway through. So I feel like when they were bragging that it was a 50-page comic, they've gone and they've made like, I don't know, 20 of them Spanish. It might not be that many. And there was a lot of adverts in it, which I expected because it was free. I'm not complaining, it was free, you know, but I don't know, I felt like it wasn't the pull that I think I'll just wait until someone who is into it reads another 50 of them, and then if they say it's worth getting into, I'll get into it. But I don't know, I'm not going down another rabbit hole with you know, hundreds and hundreds of these comics without it making any sense and then it all twisting at the end. I'd hate to think how long it would take if I read Paper Girls in individuals. I suppose it'd have been like 3-4 years, and only now is starting to make sense. That's a lot of good faith and investment. I didn't mean to go on a bit of a comic tangent here, but I read the Marvel one I mentioned. I forgot what it's called now, but it was Squirrel Girl and Ms. Marvel. I got confused because I forgot that there was a Ms. Marvel and a Captain Marvel, so I thought that it was Captain Marvel that was talking, and then the person I thought was talking was left behind while another person walked off, and I was like, oh, they're two different people, and that's not Captain Marvel. Because I was wondering why they'd made Captain Marvel a young teenager who was being oddly taught by Squirrel Girl, who is now a computer science teacher on the side of becoming a computer scientist / superhero. I need to catch up on her story a bit, but no, that was cool. I realised it was for all ages, so I passed it to my daughter, but I think she did the same thing that a lot of you losers do when you look at a comic and you think, power of squirrel, power of girl. I'm not really sure that sounds like my cup of tea. She flicked through, she saw Squirrel Girl change out of her teaching uniform and into a Squirrel Girl uniform. She saw her call upon her army of squirrels to help her free hostages from this evil group of people, and she just kind of put it on the side and said, oh, I might read it later. I will win her over. Squirrel Girl is definitely the best Marvel hero about these days. Most entertaining. I like her the most. I've read many others, not all of them, but at the moment I find her most entertaining. I've no one's been convinced though. I've tried to convince my colleagues and my friends, and I think the only people I know who've read it are Kev and Pab, and they think it's okay, but they're still not really that into her. But I think she sums up what comic characters should be like. She's entertaining, she's funny. People should watch more Squirrel Girl, damn it. Other than that, I've not really got much to say. I feel like I've done 12 minutes on emptiness, really, but I apologise for that. I will do some proper stuff in the week. I'll do one with Lamp Up tomorrow when I've got the time and the bandwidth. I feel like if I tried to get Lamp Up and me on our own, the other two, the boys would have gone nuts. My son would have just, God knows what he'd have been up to while our backs were turned, and the baby would have just been trying to... He's crawling now, and he pulls himself up in the stands, so I'm thinking he's this close to just getting up and leaving. If I take my eye off him, he's just going to just go... I'll look out the window, and he'll be driving off in the car into the distance, and that'll be it. He'll come back when he wants, but... he's become very chilled out. I mean, I took him upstairs. Normally, it's a fight to put him to bed, but I just put him on he's on his little monitor. He just rolled over onto his side and was like, "Yep, see ya." It's probably the heat and the fact that it's just a bit late now. Anyway, I'm waffling. Thanks very much for watching. Bit of a filler one this week. I'm sorry about that today. Sorry about that. You know, if this is what you like, hit subscribe, comment, give me a thumbs up, all of that stuff. I figured out what hit the bell means. Is apparently to get a notification next time I do a video so you can be the first to watch it. I'm sure with thrilling videos like this, you'd want to be the first to watch it. But hey, I plan on doing these indefinitely, so if this is the worst one, then whoopee. If this is part of the course, then I'll probably give up before it's infinite. But yeah, I'm planning on doing these for a while, so yeah. I'm sure it's fine. I'm probably worrying about nothing. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. The heat has killed me, by the way. Cheers.